Old Nadine Dorries is a bit of a roller coaster ride, isn't she? And that's not a euphemism. It's up and down, whether you like her and don't like her. Sometimes I think she's on our side. Sometimes I don't think she's on our side. But recently she's been playing a really good game. And I'm thinking, yeah, Nadine can do this. And then I read this story and I think, oh, Nadine, you've just told us all what side you're on. Gutted. But let's have a look at this story together. Do the headline first. Go through it, chat about it as always, shall we? Have a look. Fund it yourselves! Dorries hit with outrage as campaigners fear BBC licence fee to stay. So yeah, she's been fighting the good fight and she's been saying all the right things and trying to sort out all the right things, isn't she? I've turned around a bit. When she started, I thought, yeah, she could do it. And then I thought, no, she's not going to do it. She's not going to do nothing. Boris doesn't want it done. She ain't got the minerals. She's got into the job thinking she could do it and then realised once she's got the gig that it's not going to be possible to scrap the licence fee. And then I came round again thinking, do you know what? I think she's going to do it. We should all give her a fair chance. And then you read sentences like this. Ms Dorries, a long-term critic of the BBC, has publicly praised the broadcaster for its coverage of Putin's barbaric actions in Eastern Europe. She was close to tears in the House of Commons last month as she praised journalists risking their lives to report from Ukraine. And then she said, at this point, I would just like to offer my heartfelt thanks and admiration to all of those journalists working for the BBC, ITV and other news outlets who are risking their lives to bring us unbiased and accurate news from a live war zone, she said in Parliament. Now, the BBC are really ramping up the pressure on the government with BBC News because for some reason BBC News is the most trusted news in the UK. And it is a sad fact that when something big happens in the world, people turn to BBC News rather than some of the other news outlets. Sad fact, but a fact nonetheless, really. And that could be their beacon of hope for keeping their TV licence or for getting a media tax or something, the BBC is pushing the news. They've already received extra funding for BBC World News or whatever it's called, the World Service, isn't it, for broadcasting in Ukraine and Russia to give them our own type of propaganda. And that could be their saving grace, you know. It could be their saving grace because the MPs love BBC News for some reason. I don't know. Maybe they just want to get in the good books so that if BBC News have any dirt on them, they don't talk about it or something. I don't know. We will keep ratcheting up the pressure on Putin and I will use all the levers in my department to ensure that he is fully ostracised from the international community. And earlier this week, the government announced an extra 4.1 million in funding for the corporation's World Service to fight Russian disinformation. Yeah, I don't get that. I don't get that. Because that basically makes the BBC World Service a government-funded news organisation, which is very much like what RT was. But you can't watch RT in the UK because that's government-funded news. It might not be the truth, right? But now BBC World Service is government-funded news. So how do you know that's the truth? Doesn't make any sense, does it? They're just making up their own rules, aren't they? And campaign group Defund the BBC, and it should be Defund the BBC, are now warning ministers not to force the British public to continue paying the licence fee because of the war. They say the government must plough ahead with exploring future funding models and should pay for the BBC World Service itself if Number 10 wants to use the broadcaster as a way of countering the Russian narrative. The British people are facing an unprecedented cost of living crisis brought about by decades of short-sighted green signalling. It's not acceptable for people who are having to choose between heating and eating to be bullied on their doorstep by lackeys of a woke metropolitan campaign organisation. Well, I don't know about all that, and we've talked about stuff like that before, but the whole point here was that Dorries was really heavily praising the BBC, calling them brave and everything, and has greenlit some more money for BBC World Service. So it kind of says where we're going with this, doesn't it? I mean, I thought Dorries was fighting the good fight, and I think she's going to start backing the BBC. I think BBC News is going to be the saviour of the BBC funding model, and it might make it into like the media tax or something so that we have to pay it so that we can have trusted independent journalism from the BBC. So, but even if you pay it as a tax, if they change it to a tax that you have to pay and the money goes to government and then the government give it to the BBC, the money's gone from the government to the BBC. So how is that independent journalism? It's government-funded journalism. And that's what they're trying to fight, isn't it? That's why they banned RT. That's why we don't get some of the Chinese news and stuff, because it's government-funded. Right? So how's it okay for us to have that and not other countries? I don't understand. It's pot calling the kettle black. Oh, you can't. Can you say that? I don't know. I don't know. Let's not go down that route. But let me know what you think about all this down in the comments below. And I'll see you in another video again soon. Thanks for watching.